Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of the Black Bra podcast. I'm going to skip the introductions and just kind of go into what the goal of today is. By now, you should know who your co-hosts,
I agree. I agree, please.
are as celebs involved. So today we're going to be continuing the end SARS conversation that we started last week because the situation has not died down. So again, just a quick recap for anyone who is unaware of what NSARS is. SARS stands for Special Anti-Robbery Squad, which is a subdivision of the Nigerian Police Force, and they have been known to harass the youths for looking a certain way, either for having an iPhone, driving a flashy car, having tattoos, wearing dreads, with no kind of legal basis for such harassment. And they've also been known to, use their guns illegally, so killing people who maybe resist arrest or don't give them money in exchange for their freedom, which is again illegal. So so the youths last week or maybe a week and a half ago, at this point, I think we're 2.5 weeks in now. They killed somebody, and then the youth were like, enough is enough. We're not having this anymore. So we need to end the SARS group. And there have been some back and forth in terms of the government not really doing much about the request, and the youth staying on the streets for almost 2.5 weeks now to protest and ask for what is their right. So today I want to kind of start the conversation focusing on the government's response so far, right? I think the one that maybe I would pick on, and I'll also move it to you guys after that, is that we've had our lawmakers. So I think in the case of Lagos, for example, when Surulere was getting very hot, and I think police was killing, or the SARS or police were killing people, or opening fire on the protesters and arresting people without reason. The local state level lawmakers like Desmond Elliott, for example, had to go to the police station to help release people. I think earlier this week as well, we've seen the governor of Lagos State as well go to Abuja to attempt to say Baba Buhari, this my state is hot.
He's on fire.
What can you do for us? And we've seen the president's. It seemed like something that was staged for the optics, because he wants to show that he has done something, right? And the president was, I guess, smiling or laughing, or like a light laugh, after the request that he was asking to say people are angry, we need to end SARS. And for me, what that pointed to is the fact that policing in Nigeria is a federal level structure, but the effects are felt on the state level. And so it makes sense that Buhari is a bit detached from what's going on in the ground. Lagos State has been unfunctional for the last 2.5 weeks. So, of course, the governor hasn't slept well for 2.5 weeks. Buhari has slept like a baby in that time period, right? So for me, I think it just shows when people call for restructuring to put power back into the hands of the state level, I think this is one of the examples that show why. Because right now we have a disconnect where the pain is felt one place, right? But the action or the resolution is somewhere else, if that makes sense. But what do you guys think about the government's response in different, fashions so far?
It's been rubbish to me. It has been rubbish. First of all, I feel like Buhari should have said something, and not even saying something once. Like, he should have addressed, like, this guy should be on TV every night, literally, with what is going on. But what we're hearing now is that he's going to, I don't know, there's a crocodile something that they're doing. I think they're going to police the internet, so you can't put like hashtag #EndSARS or something. And I'm like,
in
that's your
Nigeria,
response.
Shebi?
Yeah, like
They are
from the
policing it in
from the
Nigeria.
yeah, from the
Okay.
20th. So that's like the thing that I'm hearing about. But for me, I feel like the government, at the beginning, it felt like nobody was listening. Then all of a sudden, because our uncle Wiki at the beginning was like, okay, ban for protesting. The next thing, he's like, okay, I'm joining you people. Sanwo-Olu, same thing. Like, I think at the beginning he didn't say anything. Then later it seemed like he was with us. And then even Desmond Elliott with the Surulere thing, I know he has been talking about it in House of Reps, Oh, I remember people were like, so we have to be like, it has to get, even Desmond Elliott at some point couldn't even bring out people. I don't really understand if it's disorganization or just a lack of structure. But at some point, even when Desmond went to the police stations in Surulere, they were not releasing people. Like lawyers went, families went, Desmond Elliott went. Like, I think it took a couple of hours before they were like, okay, we're going to release. Someone couldn't do anything. So I wish someone could explain what exactly is it that Sanwo doesn't have, because I know people went to the governor first to release those people before they start looking for who's representing our place, and then people were like, oh, it's Desmond, let's call on him. So I feel like in general it's just been everywhere. We don't even know who's for us. Some people are acting like, oh yeah, we support it, but inside we don't know. That's just it. But in general, for me, it's just Buhari is, Buhari definitely, if he has any kind of or any sense of humanity, he should step down. I don't even think he's mentally, because that one is another story for another day. I don't even think he's mentally there altogether, because I don't understand how someone is telling you something about, look, the country is like on fire and you're smiling. This is a guy that doesn't smile on a normal day. So what's the smile? That smile has to be investigated. Like, I don't understand. So for me, I'm not the government response, whether federal, state, hasn't, well, Lagos has tried to an extent, but not every area of Lagos state. Like people in Lekki, the Lekki region, I think they're the ones having fun.
That's another fair point. That's another fair point.
It's not, because we've not heard of people shooting up in Lekki.
That's true.
Agege, Ikeja, Sule, like the mainland, so I'm not really comfortable or happy with the general, government response.
And this is why, and I think this is why people say, regardless of what you do in Nigeria, just make money. Because to your point, we are all protesting the same thing, whether it's Lekki, whether it's Surulere, exactly, whether it's Agege. But to your point, the police response in these different areas are different, because you don't want to mistakenly go and shoot DJ Copy Lekki by mistake.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? Because that one, whoever is protecting you in Abuja would not be able to put mouth inside. But if some regular, person in Agege, at best you can give the family money to say sorry, I beg, and everything, moves on. But
also to add to the whole government, response, because there were rumors back in like a couple of days back that the government actually sent people to actually mess up, and like in Abuja there were people the rumor was that it was government or someone that sent these hoodlums to come, and like they had axes, they had like knives, they had like in nobody's Abuja carrying guns. Yeah, in Abuja, and it happened in Lagos too, in Alausa. Like there was, there were people on the streets that, like these guys, and they look like Northerners, most of them. So people were like, is it the government sending these people to mess up our protest and like basically injure us and even try to kill us? I don't think the government response, I mean, when we see protests outside Nigeria, like if you're going to attack us with policemen. I even saw pictures of policemen just standing. Like you're supposed to protect us regardless of the fact that we're protesting. And they were just standing there looking at people just try to kill people that were protesting peacefully. Nobody at the protest. So far, we've not heard of anyone having guns or any kind of thing like that, So, I mean, government has to do better than that.
The thing is that I believe it's hard to say what the government has done. Why I say it's hard to say what the government has done, because even if you look at that 5 of 5 agenda, the one thing they have successfully done is something they had done 4 times before.
Right.
Exactly. So I cannot come and say that they have done something. And then it is quite disturbing to see a video of a governor of Lagos State going to meet the president of Nigeria. And as the country is hot, you're telling him what is happening, and he's just smiling. And it's not like human beings should not smile, but this is somebody that I've only seen him smiling like half smile once in my life. Exactly. Now, my issue with the government is this. As you said, in many different states, there are many things. And unfortunately, it is the state governors that bear the brunt. Lagos has not been functional, as you said, Olori. And that is why the Lagos state governor will go, even if it's staged or not. He needs to go. He needs to do something because his state is not moving. Right. And his state needs to move in order for money and everything to be made.
because they don't have oil. They don't have oil
They
money
don't
there.
have
So
oil, and that is what they use
yeah,
to keep the state afloat.
right.
Also, he knows the
Mm.
kind of people in his state. His
Mm-hmm.
state is that kind of rugged state, just like Port Harcourt, that if you try any nonsense, you will see anyhow.
Mm.
And that is what it is. And unfortunately, the population of the state as well is so much that they can overthrow any government that comes there to try to do any nonsense. They have locked down the toll gates.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know how
Mm.
Lagos is. How do you go from island to mainland? That already on its own is such a big thing, because obviously people are not moving freely, and
Right.
that is where the people of the cabals of Lagos make their money, toll gates
Yeah.
money. They are
Mm-hmm.
not making that money, so he has had to go there. Now, that my issue is this: Port Harcourt, for example, as well. Wike came with one thing: SARS has been ended, so keep quiet. Then the next day, we saw him with them. Now, my own issue is: are these governors being pushed because of the lack
Yeah.
of movement in the states? Are
To
they
make
being
money.
pushed to join because of that? Or are they being pushed to join because they actually care? Something like
Support.
Wiki now, I know that before now he has been complaining about all these SARS and everything. He has been talking about it since he has been asking for state police. My issue with that is that, which is what this NSAS campaign has started showing. The issue is not only SARS. SARS is just a little like
Mm.
less than a quarter of the whole
Mm-hmm.
problem, because even if we move it to state policing, Wike, where is our money for all this time that you've been in government? Why is this road still spoiled? So that one will start another problem.
Right.
So the issue I have with the government, I'll agree with Efe here. First of all, Buhari is not a president that we even know what is going on. We don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You cannot open your mouth and talk. At least regard us that respect. Even if you want to,
Exactly.
even if you decide not to do your job the way you want to do it, regard us that respect to talk, which is what is aggravating a lot of
Yeah.
people that are protesting. There is a certain level of responsibility that you should have. During your election, you were going round, whether sick or not, we
Uh-huh.
don't know.
That's
You
true.
were going round, you were talking. Morning, afternoon, evening, you were giving people what to hear. First term,
Exactly.
second term, you came out. So what is making you not come out now? You can't be sick now. You cannot be sick now when you were not sick during your election.
That's
It's
fair.
not fair. So the issue I have is that the government, I cannot say they have done well. Why I can't say that is that another thing. Sorry, just I'll wrap up. Another thing is that the IG of police cannot come and open his mouth and say something. Then tomorrow we'll see a video of them dragging somebody. Are they not
Then
telling people in the
exactly.
different state police units that they say, bring, stop it? Haven't they told them? So me, I don't understand. It's like there's communication barrier, and you cannot be having communication problems when you're dealing with people that are already angry. If you're
Exactly.
saying one thing, have one voice and say one thing. Don't come and say now and then tomorrow now they are locking people up and Desmond Elliot can't even free them and they did not do anything. So why won't they come out tomorrow and say end SARS, end police safe? I don't
So
understand though.
kind of on that tangent, right? Where I want to go next with the conversation is why is ending SARS so hard for the government? And there are
Exactly.
there are two schools of thought, right? I was of the personal opinion that there has to be more going on because I think that there are probably members of SARS that don't know anybody. Like I'm just saying, if the government wants to do eye service performative action, right? There are
Mm,
probably maybe 10, 20 members across the federation that have done something bad but know nobody, right? That you can easily hang out to dry and say,
Mm.
okay, these are the 20
this
officers
is the culprit.
that were going to prosecute and do a very public trial, a very public investigation, use them as scapegoats. And I think if they had done that early on, or maybe like, or maybe even now, right, it would have maybe doused the protest energy a bit. So for me, I'm like, that is a low hanging, very performative action, fruit. Why didn't you go that route? But then the other route that I think was brought to my attention was, as a government, you know how the US says that we don't negotiate with terrorists, because if
Mm-hmm.
you negotiate with this first person now on this one item,
You need to
right,
continue.
then tomorrow they can come back knowing that they have the upper the upper hand and that you will negotiate. So the government's thing is almost like, if we give these people this end SARS, what will they ask for tomorrow? That they didn't think that, okay, if they do a protest, we will give in to their
demands.
Exactly, which is weird because this is a democracy, it's supposed to be for the people, by the people, right? So to me, I'm like, which one do you think is the driving factor between why is it so hard to get rid of SARS? Like, this is not a CBN job where you say, okay, maybe top people's kids are inside, right? There are many common men and women, in SARS. So why is it so hard to use them as examples to end? Like, what is the sticking point for the government there? I can't for the life of me understand what is the hold up.
For me, I think it's just bureaucracy. I think there's a lot of red tapes. There's like, first of all, I don't even know if they're organized. So let's even assume they're organized. You have to, like, for you can't just say, okay, we're going to side with, the people protesting. The police force, there are millions of Nigerians employed by the police force. Even SARS alone, like, those people are under the police force and the government is responsible for them. So I think it's more of, how do we make the decision that's going to kind of favor everyone to an extent? And that's why I think at the beginning they just said, okay, we're ending SARS. And people were like, no, you're not ending SARS because you've done this before. We want it scrapped. Like, if you're going to do anything, scrap it. Let's just have police. And then we know that, okay, police is doing what SARS was doing. So I think it's more of just, it's complicated. It's like, for us, we think it's easy. Oh, we'll just end SARS. But I think there are procedures that they have to go through. But the thing is, they're not even telling us what is going on. You're just saying one thing and you think that, we're just going to keep quiet. Because I mean, the thing is, like, based on history, Nigerian governments can't say anything. You see people on TV arguing, rubbish, but where's the action? So I just think it's more of like, there are red tapes, there's bureaucracy, there's complicated things that are happening probably behind the scenes or have to happen for them to say, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to replace it. I was even hearing of, I think they sacked like, there's this popular woman, or something of where, and people were like, exactly, like, isn't she for us? So we don't know if they're using her as a scapegoat or they're
and
saying,
she was PRO, if I'm not mistaken, she was PRO.
Exactly.
So I'm like, a
So
PRO is typically not on the ground shooting people.
Exactly. So it's like, why are you sacking her? And there was another guy who they sacked. So people were like,
I
this guy is
remember
actually
that woman.
better.
Oh, is that why we saw her? Sorry, is that why we have been?
Yeah.
I remember seeing her pictures beforehand.
Yes, that's
her and another guy who I think anytime this thing happens and Rugged Man, tries to work with the police to find a solution, I think they are the people that he typically works with.
Okay.
Exactly. So people were like, why are you, like, is this supposed to be, like, I don't understand. These are like the better ones. Like, there was people in there that you should, kind of do. So I think it's more complicated, but the government needs to listen and they need to do what they have to do. If they need to scrap SARS, let them scrap it. And then, like people have been saying, it's bigger than SARS. Like, SARS is just a fraction of what people are actually pushing for. So that's just it. Just like train your people well. People are even pushing for paying police officers better. They were putting like
I'm struggling with that pay better. I'm sorry. I'm struggling with that pay better.
I mean, there's two sides to it.
Yeah,
there's two sides. It's because with the pay them better, maybe if you pay them better, people feel money is an incentive, but at the end of the day, it's training. It's not even a matter of paying. And I guess compared to, like, because people were comparing it to salary of like a typical senator or House of Reps member, and it's like it's I mean, newspaper allowance is like a policeman's salary for 3 years or something.
Right.
So it's like, okay, let's pay them better. So people think paying them better will help them maybe a little bit, so they won't, because I think they basically live on bribes, basically, and they're constantly finding ways to make extra money, so it's like, okay, let's pay them better and see if that will help. Well, me personally, I think if it's going to help, it's not going to help a lot. It might help maybe 1% of the total population of the police force. So that pay them better is a starting point, I guess, so that we can, I think people will start doing that. So police would support us and say, these people are not just fighting for NSAS, they're also fighting for us. So it's like, okay, look, let's come to a middle ground. Like, this is what we want. And police people, we're advocating for you to increase your salaries so that you guys don't have to, at least if you're dying, you know that, okay, my family is taken care of to an extent. I have a certain amount that I'm making every month. and things like that. Even police, like life insurance and health insurance and all those things. So I've been hearing about things like that in general.
I mean, that's the one that I would agree with in terms of, because this is a job where your health, can be on the line. So I think it's unfair to have them to use their
Yeah,
salary to take care of work-related injuries, right? So there has to be
to
some sort of
do
health
that.
insurance scheme
Yeah.
for them. But where I disagree, and I'm not saying that police people are paid, handsomely by any stretch. But my thing is the reward system, right? In the sense that
Hmm.
there are many civil servants that are underpaid. Should they now take
Yeah,
to arms to
exactly.
get their payment, their pay, increased? That is my issue there. And then
Hmm.
two, I feel like I like to make a distinction between police and SARS a bit. I'm not saying that police haven't, killed people, but they
Yeah.
are known for just doing I beg anything for the boys, right? In their begging. Do you get what I'm saying? Like that one, they're begging you. SARS, I've been stopped by SARS before. The energy was like, I'm already a criminal before before
Yeah.
any before any search. And the funny thing is that same day, maybe one minute before, there was a police checkpoint
Mm,
that had also stopped me. And
yeah.
but they were like, I beg, or
Yeah.
anything
I've seen
for
that
the
before.
Just
Yes.
for the weekend. So to me, I'm like,
Mm.
yeah.
increasing pay may mean that if maybe in that particular scenario I was carrying drugs, increasing pay would mean that I cannot just
Yeah.
get away with carrying drugs with a bribe. Not that my life will not be on the line
Mm,
because they didn't pay you,
mm.
well. To me,
Well,
there's an issue with that, pay well thing, but not to kind of
increase
digress
pay.
from that kind of back to maybe let's get a class take on in terms of why is it so hard, like what is so impossible, with disbanding, like truly disbanding SARS.
I don't. To be honest, I think there are two things here. First of all, apart from the fact that okay, they disbanded SARS, or so they said, and then SWAT came about 2 days,
Mm,
or be 3 hours later. I don't understand why there was a need to do that. Now, I will say there might be the school of thought of the ego part of it. Why will we just sit down and listen to all these small children and all of a
mm,
sudden, will do? Who are they? What can they do? Let's
yeah.
just close their mouths with money. So there's that one part, excuse me. And then there's the second part where I actually don't know why it is so hard. I mean, even if they even tried a little and did something like, even if it's not something to do with SARS or SWAT, change the name, let it be a something something, and just put them, I don't know if it is a lack of creativity, lack of sense, lack of what. I don't know what it is. Or is it the other part, which I think Governor Wike spoke about, of are they using them for specific things? That is why they
Exactly.
can't
Yeah,
disband
They
them. So
can't
there's,
because a lot of government people have police on their payroll, so it's.
to be honest, if the police is 100%, 50% are with, or even more than 50% are with our
Exactly attached
politicians.
to.
They are attached.
Exactly.
So now my own issue is like, because I don't understand. That's why I say I don't know if there's a lack of creativity here. Because if people have been saying 4 times you have disbanded SARS, is it that
Mhm.
SARS is bigger than you, the president, or what? I don't understand why they must keep on coming back in the same name as SARS, or why they can't come as something else, not SARS, not SWAT, not anything, and then allow it brew first before you just create another one. The second
Mhm.
thing is that because I don't, to be honest, I don't know. I've been thinking to myself too that if a country, if a nation is shouting about something, they've been shouting for a long time. They say
Oh
this is
yes.
brutal. What is your issue? Then okay, you have another issue I have is that why is it that every single police officer, in fact, I don't even know if there's requirement of rank. Almost every single police officer just has gun. Papa, they will just
right.
shoot. If they are
Exactly.
listening, they have gun. Why is that the case? Why is it that somebody becomes a police officer, they are going on the road and then they are holding a gun? Why?
That's
I know
true.
Nigerians are stubborn, but why is that the kind of nation we are? Are guns legal? If it is it the US? At least in the US, we know that the police, so the citizens, though everybody is holding gun.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
the only way you can probably now is gun for gun or whatever their mentality is. But then in Nigeria, guns are not allowed on the road. You're not just going to be holding a gun and moving, and they say, oh, it's a licensed gun or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But then, so why is it that a police officer is always holding a
Free.
gun?
Yeah.
Because most of the stories I've seen of people who died, most of the police officers are not their normal selves. They are
Mm.
drunk, they are high, they are not,
Right.
they were trigger happy. It just happened, stray bullets, according to what we see. So
Right.
my own issue is, first of all, even as apart from the SARS, sorry, I've moved somewhere else. Apart from the SARS on everything, look at the initial problem. Why must everybody hold gun? But I'm guessing the reason why is because most of the police officers are guarding some supposedly
Yeah.
powerful people that need protection, and they
Mm-hmm.
need them to carry guns so that they will come and be using it to disrupt the whole place. So I think the issue here is that there's so much personal benefits to our people, our whatever leaders, that they have to do it in a very coded manner so that they don't step on people's toes or something. There must be some reasoning behind it, because to me it looks so simple, but it seems to them it's such a hard problem to solve.
I also feel like because of they've seen how active the youths are, and basically the thing is, okay, are we going to listen to the youth? Are we going to listen to the policemen? If we listen to the youth now, the policemen might not, those services that we get from them, like the attachment to this governor, this billionaire, whatever, we might not get it. Secondly, there's a threat because the youth can actually mobilize with policemen and actually like turn down things, basically. Because we've seen people even giving food. We've even seen policemen in some places where they're like, you people are doing a good job. At the end of the day, this whole thing affects even policemen. Their kids are probably affected, because if your child, maybe you're a policeman stationed in Lagos, your child is in, I don't know, Benin or one state like that. Nobody knows that my father is a police officer unless
That's
I'm in the
true.
same state with my father. So it's like they know that there's power, because they look at how much people have raised in how many days. We can raise that money and say, yeah, police, come and follow us. Let's tackle this government. So I think it's a hard decision, and it's a hard thing to kind of, I don't know how they're going to do it, but at least they should try to pacify everybody involved, both police and the youths. And I don't think so far they've done a good job. So I think there's also a threat that the youth can actually kind of get the police to be on their side, because at the end of the day, that's why people even start saying, "Oh, let's increase police
Police
salaries." So
salary.
it's like, exactly. So you know that, it's not, we're not just fighting against you; we're fighting against the bad people in your police force, not just anybody.
So on that kind of note, on like the organization of the youth, I think there has been this back and forth, especially with the
Mm.
concert that has been happening at Lekki Toll Gate. Um, do
Mhm.
we need a leader for the group? Now, I've heard both sides of the argument. If there's a leader, it's easy to bribe one person and divide and conquer, and disrupt the movement that way. But with having no leader or no structure, how long can we just continue to be on the streets without any sort of I guess structure, but maybe any sort of like, I'm struggling with how to phrase it, any sort of
Yeah.
leadership, because I know where people have been saying, oh, we don't have a leader, we don't need one, but somebody came
Mm.
up with the 5 points agenda, like somebody somewhere, or some people like,
Mm.
I didn't see
Mm.
a vote for,
Yeah.
do you want the five or not. So there was some sort of leadership that came up with,
And we
with
don't
that.
even know who. Do we know who came up with the 5 point
Exactly.
stuff?
I don't
Yeah,
know where that 5 point
And
agenda originated from.
there's the 7.1 now.
yeah,
You know,
seven
it's
points.
Exactly.
yeah.
So I think, and now that we're saying that there are now different points now involved, is the
Mm.
absence of a clear leadership structure leading to these different factions now. In terms of like, now there's a seven
Oh
points,
no,
there's a five
the
points.
7 points is on that. The 7 point takes cognizance of the 5 points, so it's still
Okay.
all together. Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
it's
so like,
As far as the
yeah.
protest,
Hmm.
yeah, as far as the protest, I know it was a feminist group, like Feminist Question. I know they're the ones that started the whole, so it was basically spearheaded by a group of women who,
Right.
were like, okay, let's end SARS. Now, for, like you said, there are different factions. So we don't even know. I mean, they're the main people so far. And then I guess it's a collective effort. So I guess no, we've not picked someone to say, oh, this is our face. At some point, people were saying Aisha. Aisha is like, I don't want to sit at any table. So don't, I'm not going to be the head of anything. Which there are different kinds of activists. So I guess her own activism is more of, I don't even want to negotiate with government or even try to be the face of anything. So for now, it's the feminist coalition and some, Twitter
Is the
people and then
feminist
some
coalition
celebrities.
even in charge? I thought they were just they were
Yeah, and
just
I'm
Raising
saying it's
money.
them that, yeah, they are the ones that
giving money.
they're the ones that like we know started the whole like hashtag and let's promote this thing, but there's no leader so far. I think because at the beginning people thought government will answer us immediately, but I
Yeah.
feel like if it continues, I think they might eventually have to pick someone to just kind of be the main face of the youth
Right.
in general. So it's not just random people in different states.
Because I don't
Because
know
I think
if
that,
we can. Sorry, go on.
no, you can talk. Don't worry.
Because I was saying that I think Hong Kong maybe have been having a year-long protest, but I don't know what that
Yeah,
looks like just an indefinite
exactly.
protest for like a whole, because right
Yeah.
now like getting like a 30-minute journey from maybe Lekki to like VI or something is now a
Mm,
4-hour trip, right?
mm,
So do people just become desensitized after a while? Um
mm.
or like how do you keep that energy going for a year if no one is going to
Mm.
listen
Listen,
to you?
I,
Like,
w-
that's
what does
yeah,
that look
the
like?
thing.
I
It
would
needs to
say,
definitely.
oh sorry.
No, don't worry, Kaka.
No, I would say now, the thing that has kept the energy going on for this long is the fact that a lot of people are living a better life as protesters than as they would as a normal. It's true. And I would rather, in order for, like, because now you think about it, you have been going to a job, you go from, it will take, as you said, it takes 4 hours now to go. So if you are living in the mainland and you have a job in Lekki, it will take you 4 hours to go to the job. When will you wake up?
Or more?
When will you
Or
do, or
more?
more?
Or more.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
because
some
that's
And
far.
people
how
are
How
much?
much is
even
just
working
Lekki
from
to
home
VI?
now.
And you're
Coming from
getting
mainland.
50K a month, right? And your
You
boss
better
is
stay
even annoying.
protest.
You rather stay, and then you cannot even pay rent with that 50K. Transport is hard. They will not increase it because of NSAS protest. Now, me as a youth, I will go and protest because
Mm.
I'm getting food, breakfast, lunch, and
Three
dinner.
square meals, man.
3 square meals, and it's unlimited buffet. It's not just any type of meal. And then I am now getting, I've been looking for money, gathering money to even get backward seats to go for Davido concert. I'm checking live and
Nonsense.
direct. As in, I'm not saying that our youth are going to do that, and then but then if you think about it, what
The
has sustained,
incentive. Yeah.
and what will sustain
Mm,
this protest is the fact, and that's
yeah.
why I applaud that feminist coalition and everybody that has come from the
Mm,
angle of money. If you have a money level of this thing where you say, in order for us to stay here, we need electricity to charge our phones, we need food to eat, we need
yeah.
water to drink, we need something to keep us moving. So we'll keep on giving stories and we'll keep on bringing creative ideas so that we keep on staying here. Omo, people that were not even in the protest before, they will come out. I know two people, my cousins, they went there. They went yesterday. Now they went simply because they are obviously people in that bracket that will probably have have had issues or will most
Mm,
likely have issues with SARS, because they are two young men. They are obviously one is a, what they call it, these dev people. They are IT guys.
IT guys.
Now
Okay.
obviously there's the possibilities of them going to work and coming back with their laptops is very high. What is their profile? They'll be called a Yahoo boy. They don't, as far as I know, they don't have tattoos or they don't have dreadlocks, but then they are people that
Yeah.
fit that bill very
fit the
well.
profile.
So they
Mm,
went out to protest simply because they probably even know people that have had this kind of issue before. But
mm.
then my brother, I say my brother, I spoke to my cousin today, and what did my cousin tell me? He said they went there by 8 o'clock. They left in the evening. He said he couldn't believe his eye because
Everywhere.
the organization, the fact
Mm,
that they went there at 8 o'clock and they were already serving breakfast. there was lunch, and then there was dinner. And then he said it was not just anyhow that they'll be doing rice and all this thing. No, it
Proper
was
foods.
proper breakfast. And it was
Intercontinental.
unlimited. It was unlimited. Drinks flowing continuously.
Wow.
So they are standing there and there's sufficient everything for you. He said, even when there are people that try to come and be bad boys, right?
Mm,
And they try to, let's say they'll come with alcohol or they smoke something or they are starting to become a bit too this thing. They
mm.
have a section where they will carry you to. The
Oh
bouncer will carry
wow.
you there, and then you calm down. So you can't even disrupt the peace here.
Mm.
Then if you're somebody that is too drunk, they carry you there too. So there are sections of this thing. The organization is too much that you tell yourself, tomorrow I'm coming back here. After all, if I wanted to go to Domino's now, I will carry 5K and go.
That's right.
This one, you are giving me free pizza. So what's my
Three,
point? So
three square meals.
I think if the money keeps flowing, if people keep donating, the protest will still stand. I'm praying that the government has the sense to answer quickly before
Exactly.
it
That's
now
just it.
reaches too long. It now stays too long because, as you said,
Because
motivation
another thing
can
is
die.
there's yeah, and then another thing is there might even be we might have the wrong type of people who actually come and then say, okay, you know what, they're not listening.
Exactly.
Let's become violent. So like
Exactly.
we and definitely we need to have one voice. We need to have someone that says, okay, I speak on behalf of every youth, whether abroad in Nigeria. So they definitely need to work on that if the government, because eventually there's going to be sabotage. Like there will be
Mm.
people who will come and just mess up the whole point
Infiltrate. Yeah.
of, I don't have a problem with the concept. It keeps people the momentum, like it keeps it going. But
Mm.
eventually, like if government doesn't listen, like I don't know how they're doing it in Hong Kong for 1 year. Like I would like to like research that because I don't know how long Nigeria is not
But,
Hong Kong. We are a
yeah,
war.
but do you know,
So
do you know my issue with having, and I understand with the people who say let's not have one representative because it's hard in Nigeria to trust anybody.
Mm.
It's hard to trust any individual because I can't trust you that today you come and talk outside with me and then tomorrow behind closed doors. That is why a
yeah.
lot of people are saying if
when
Buhari wants to
when
talk, come
money
and
is
talk to us.
involved, because to your
Exactly.
point, right, maybe as we all three are now, we are protesting because there's no money involved. If someone now
Yeah.
Yes.
comes and says, Olori, 30 million is there for you,
It changes the
right,
Mm.
dynamic.
it changes exactly. You get what I'm saying? And then you now, Eka, would you now, if you now know that I'm collecting 30 M, right, will
Mm,
you not die on the line?
exactly.
or will
That's
you
the
try,
thing.
try and get your own 30 M? That way that
Mm.
gets, tricky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's working well for the kind of people we are right now. We all like money. We all know that people have coconut head in the country. So come and talk to all of us. Let us not hear
Exactly.
that they said that this one collected money, come and
Exactly.
talk to us.
Problem.
All
And maybe
right.
that's why Aisha Yusufi doesn't want to go and stand there before they will now come and chook
Yeah.
her for her children.
And
Because
also
they'll
maybe
say,
tarnish her name, because I
exactly.
think you make a good point, because during the first APC Good Luck Buhari election, there are many Twitter warriors that had positioned themselves as honest, noble for the people, that
Mm.
during that
Mm,
APC time seemed to have taken money, to maybe
Yeah.
bash Good Luck or whatever. And then when Buhari got
exactly.
into power, they got
They became
positions.
something.
Yes.
Yeah, so that can always be a tricky one, but basically at time, if NSAS goes another week, we'll be here next week, again,
Yeah.
to give more, updates on that. I don't think we have time for any kind of final
Yeah.
thoughts, but I think we've said what we need to say in this one. So we'll see you all in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.